Cafcass are there to listen to your concerns and to make decisions about your family, but sometimes it can feel like you're talking to a brick wall. So today I want to share with you 4 of my top tips for getting Cafcass to listen and hear your concerns. So time and time again I hear from clients that Cafcass have misinterpreted something, or they've said something and it's been ignored, and they feel like they're not taking their concerns seriously. And so in this video I'm going to break it down into 4 steps, and I'm going to use a storytelling analogy of going on a journey. So at the start of the journey you need to know where you're heading, so decide what the destination is. And the important part of this is, 1, you having your own goal, but 2, knowing what they are looking for as well. And so as part of the Court Prep Toolkit on Get Court Ready, I share with you the framework that social workers use to assess children's needs. Now, obviously Cafcass work for the courts, and so they also use the welfare checklist here in the UK. But social work training is, we've been using this framework for years because it covers every area of the child's life. And so for you, it's a good way to start looking at any areas of concern with regards to things that the social workers are going to be looking for that actually impact the child. It's a good way to reframe what is going on in your mind so it is completely child focused. And I know everyone will say it's child focused because I'm talking about the risk to them, but the way you deliver it sometimes might not be child focused. And so let's give an example of that. So you say that your ex struggles with their temper, and your child is scared of that. Now you think that that is child focused, and I'm not saying it's not completely, but let's just flip that a little bit and look at emotional stability and emotional warmth. So your concern is for the child that they're not in an environment where there is that stability from the parent. So the child's feelings can sometimes go missed. They can be ignored, which, happens. So it's just a slightly different way. And, that's just a very small example. And when I work one-to-one with clients, I will go through and reframe that for them. But using this toolkit will help you to look at the different ways that you can frame your experiences and your concerns in a very child-focused way, knowing exactly what Cafcass officers through their training are looking for. And again, it fits in with the child welfare checklist because ultimately that is a broader sense and a legal sense of what these things that they're assessing for are. So the second one is you need to know the terrain. And what I mean by that is you need to have a pretty good idea of what your ex is going to say about you to avoid traps. So as if you were going out on an adventure, you need to know where the swamps are. You need to know where the orcs are. Sorry, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is in my head. You need to know where they are so that you can plan your route around them. So again, part of what we do in Get Court Ready is we work through with you their mentality. What are their weaknesses? What is their psychology? And I don't just mean the top row of narcissist and even the diagnostic criteria. I mean the real nuts and bolts of what goes on for them, their individual motivations, so that we can start to see what grenades they're going to throw. And like I say, then you can navigate them with much more ease. It just stops you from when Cafcass come and they say this, you don't fall into the trap of necessarily having to defend yourself, because when you defend yourself, it can fall into that parental conflict narrative. actually staying calm when you're already prepared for it, it's a very different approach, because you're more measured, you're more balanced, you're less emotional, so you're not falling into the false narrative that they are setting. The third step on our journey is you need a plan or a map. You need some way of knowing how to get there. So what do you want to get across? What are the main points? Because often in these cases, it's so complex and there's so many different concerns that it can get diluted when you're trying to say, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And this. One, people's brains switch off, and so they don't take on board a lot of it. Two, they get lost. I find that, again, slight tangent, I struggled with Game of Thrones. I love those sort of stories, but because there were so many people involved, my brain just couldn't stay on track with it. So that's what happens. People just can't take it all on and then figure it out. It's part of your job is to present it in a way that is much clearer for them. It is a much clearer map of A to B. And again, this is something that I work with my clients on, is how do we take these concerns and like bundle them? So all of these concerns in this area, let's bundle it in and let's pick out what is the best example of that. And that's the one that you'll go for. What is the best example of that, and go for that. So again, using that, knowing what we're looking for, knowing what they're looking for, means that we can then use our map in a better way. And then the final one is you need a good compass. And what I mean by that is your internal compass. Your emotions are going to get used against you. You are going to be labelled as being emotionally unstable, abusive, aggressive, an alcoholic, you know, all of these negative terms to describe you, all to undermine you, all to play into a narrative and a stereotype. But if you act in the way that someone with those things, or someone who was those things, acted, they're going to go A plus B equals C. You therefore are that person, and that's a good description of you. Therefore, they're going to believe more of what they say than what you say. It's all about the storyteller. So you need your compass to be guiding you as to, okay, what are they saying? So again, going back to the terrain, you need to know what attracts orcs. Okay, I need to be the opposite of that. I need to make sure that, you know, they can't hear me, they can't see me, so that you don't fall into those narratives. And when you've been through these relationships and through this process, you have got complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So you are much easier triggered. We call it the window of tolerance. And that means is this is the bit that you can tolerate. And when you've experienced a lot of trauma, that window gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So things that wouldn't normally bother you, oh my God, they kick you off. And then you can be either completely flat and depressed, so you might cry really easily, or the opposite, you might flare up and be, I'm all stressed and angry. So part of it is expanding that window of tolerance so that when you speak with Cafcass, you are less triggered. Because again, the narcissist is going to want to be poking you to have these reactions. So when you expand that, this is why I include the I Am Safe module in Get Caught Ready, is to help you regulate your nervous system to expand that window of tolerance. So there you go. 4 of my top tips for helping you to get Cafcass to hear your concerns. I hope you found that helpful. Do drop any comments in the comment section below. I will pop a resource in below as well, which is preparing you for Cafcass. So in this toolbook, it will talk you through these steps and what to expect from your interview, how to interact with them, how to engage with them. I'll also drop a link for the court preparation toolkit if you're interested to have a look at that. And I'm also going to provide you with a blog that I wrote, which is about talking about some of the biases and why Cafcass struggle to identify parental alienation. So there's 2 blogs there, just again expand on all of these points, understand biases, so again you can try and navigate your way around of them. Take care, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share if you know anyone who is going through this, and click the notification bell so you get notified when our next video goes live. Take care. Speak soon. Bye bye.